Indio, 1989, one of Antonio Margheriti's last features. The third last, actually. What does Eduardo have to say about this particular feature? Maybe the fourth last. I'm not sure if this came out before Alien from the Deep, which is also 89. That's a very fine film in its own way, actually. Anyway, by destroying the lungs of the world. With this sentence, Indio was launched, an adventure film with an ecological background by Antonio Margheriti, a project conceived, written, and produced by Filiberto Bandini, and with his company RPA International, provides Antonio with a large budget and international cast, both artistic and technical, from an American film. The result is an extraordinary example of fusion and cohesion between the adventure genre and the film exposing one of the evils of our current society, the systematic destruction of forests Amazon, the lung of the planet, in fact. The plot, to be able to easily reach a wide audience in the market, it was embroidered on one of the hits of the moment, Rambo by Ted Kotcheff. More like Rambo First Blood Part 2 by George Cosmatos, whatever. Tracing some situations and characters, Daniel Indio Morel, played by Francisco Quinn, son of the famous Anthony Quinn, who had worked with Antonio in The Island of the Treasury. That's an interesting translation of Treasure Island in outer space. Is in fact a Marine, perfectly trained for war and to survive in extreme conditions, while the commander, military former officer of the retired Green Berets, at the head of the squads of workers and mercenaries who destroy the forest, is Brian himself, Dennehy, who played the sheriff in the movie with Sylvester Stallone. Brian Dennehy, underrated actor, gave one of the better performances in the English language from the 1980s, was probably his in Greenaway's The Belly of an Architect. He's unrecognizable. It's him, but you forget it's him because we have such an idea of Brian Dennehy as a character actor, from First Blood to films like The Last of the Finest or Umberto Lenzi's final feature, Mean Tricks. Anyway, oh no, sorry, that's Charles Napier in Mean Tricks. It's easy to get Napier and Dennehy confused. But Napier was in Rambo 2, so one ought to know that there's two distinct people. Anyway, play the sheriff in the movie with Sylvester Stallone. Similar is also the fury that Brian Dennehy puts into trying to eliminate the young soldier who stands in his way. Work. And in addition, there is also the character of the non-commissioned officer, instead of a colonel, who trained the deadly Marine who was called to help the company get rid of him, the Sergeant Iron, played by marvelous Marvin Hagler, the legendary former world champion boxing, who has become a legend for having defended the title for over 10 years ago times. He decided to try his hand at acting with this film, with some success. In fact, it will be the protagonist of the sequel to this film, and will be called also by Antonio for his latest work, Virtual Weapon, 1996, paired with Terence Hill. Indio, shot entirely in the Philippines, however, takes a different turn and does not emulate Rambo, if not in these few analogies, because Antonio gives him that particular touch, making it an adventurous but at the same time profound film. Thank you to the excellent screenplay, which you are passionate about and keeps you glued to the chair, but also to make you think. And just a review of this film, taken from the book Trait, from the book World's Incredible by Antonio Tentori and Antonio Buscini, Granata Press, Bologna, 1994. If from a certain point in the story, Indio seems to have several points in common with Ted Kotcheff's Rambo, again, George Cosmatos, Rambo First Blood Part 2, rather, it is also true that the coordinates of the adventure genre are always and everywhere the same. The coordinates of the adventure genre are always... I love this translation comes up with some fantastic... Man, there's some fantastic word substitutions here. But in the context and above all, the meaning of the film are different. In any case, compared to the character of Rambo played by Sylvester Stallone, our Indio uses, in addition to muscles and instinct, also his intelligence, resorting to the esoteric practices of his ancestors and proving to be able to spare the lives of his archenemy in one of the most successful scenes of the film. Of particular importance are those essential elements connected always to the land of the Indians and their rituals, the air, the sun, the fire, the sky, the earth. These are intense scenes in which Indio recognizes the belonging to his race and his uncontaminated nature from the civilization of the white man. As a great engaging adventure story then, with A. Margheriti in a great form, who directs a breathtaking story according to his own style of stuff, there is nothing to envy to that of the more acclaimed directors overseas. I definitely agree. You noted I've seen this film in relatively low resolution, although you can tell there's a fantastic understanding of framing, editing of action sequences, a very fluid, motion-oriented cinematographic ethos, which grounds everything within what seems to be a low-budget film, has all the professionalism of a higher-budgeted production, the convicted seriousness of a higher-budgeted production, like Cosmatos' Rambo 2 might have been. relative to the production, it's like Commando Leopard, actually. It's better directed than Cosmatos, Rambo, First Blood Part 2, or Mark Lester's work on, I believe it's Mark Lester, on Commando, Schwarzenegger, 85. We'll close it here. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it very, very immensely.